Ghosts, aliens, and a guy's precious gems. This anime has it all. Dandadan is pretty much a one-stop shop and a gem for every trend, technique, and plot point needed to hook its fans. It cleverly blends horror, comedy, sci-fi, and even slice-of-life elements, giving its cast a well-needed breather every once in a while. You can also tell the author actually likes his work. No shade to this guy. And the animators aren't being held at gunpoint. No shade to this company. Each episode feels like a fever dream that reminds you of your granny chasing you to the ends of the earth and touch-deprived uchujins out for your precious bananas. We've got dynamic storytelling with nuanced plot points, perfect for our worryingly short attention spans, peak direction and action sequences that are easily on par with MAPPA, but this time using humane techniques to animate without overburdening the animators and letting them see their children every once in a week. And a perfect touch of comedy to cut the horrific jump scares. Turbogranny I can get behind, but the aliens? As much as the aliens horrified me, I admit their design was well thought out. I've never seen aliens that aren't concoctions of green slime, black squiggly eyes, and narrow faces. It tells me someone decided to be creative for once. But the art style isn't the only thing that's unique. We've also been blessed by mind-boggling animation with a masterful use of CGI that blends so well into the background that you won't even see it. You'd think that everyone uses CGI that way, but some anime shamelessly throw in all of the CGI right in our faces with no intention of hiding them. I won't call out Blue Lock here since they had far worse issues to deal with. Heck, CGI would have actually done them wonders. But not everyone thinks it through. The animation studio for Dandadan, called Science Saru or Science Monkey, uses this thing called digital assisted animation, in which they hand draw keyframes but use digital means to create or fill in the gaps for the in-between animations. This helps pump out episodes faster without compromising on the quality. With them in charge, you won't be dealt with the 7 deadly frames card or be berserked or PNG locked and won't see your favorite characters and arcs tarnished in front of your very eyes. Seriously though, how did animation studios fail to do their only job? Even fans with Ibis Paint did it better. Don't let them fool you when they say, oh, we didn't have the budget or we were behind schedule. Why even take up popular shows when you intend to present something so criminally subpar? Studio Science Saru, on the other hand, shows how it's really done. They've got smaller animation teams, livable work environments, and take their time to produce and create. High-quality anime that comes out every 3 to 4 years will always be better than low-quality garbage that comes out every year. This studio has also worked on the likes of Adventure Time, Devilman Crybaby, and Ping Pong the Animation, all of which had fantastic animation. This is also a reflection of their name, where science represents logic and business, and the term monkey represents creativity, letting them monkey around as they wish and let them see their families every once in a while. Studios like this restore my faith in humanity. They show that not all businesses are money-grubbing hogs and see their employees as more than just faceless cogs in a system devoid of emotions and feelings. I wish we could say the same for other studios. You know which ones I'm talking about. Aside from the animation, Dandadan has tons of details sprinkled throughout the show. The range of camera angles, cuts and frames, pauses and repetitions are all exemplary examples of masterful direction. Even with a handful of resources, they create such wonders in animation, while studios directly under big dogs in the game like Bandai Namco leave you wondering what in God's green earth just happened. In the first episode itself, Dandadan, as its name suggests, went all out, and instead of overwhelming its viewers, it sets up an immersive world that welcomes you straight in. Okarun's character and manner of speech perfectly encapsulate what it means to be a true otaku or nerd, whereas Ayase's character represents the gyaru subculture, and the two of them together are the perfect extreme ends of the spectrum. Some details you must have missed and were so cleverly placed for how Okarun's glasses sometimes appear distorted or darkened, reflecting his association with ghosts and ghouls, how the enemies are all based on real-life myths, such as Teke Teke for Turbo Baba, how the background, color palettes, and sound design shifts to tailor to the enemies they're facing, and how popular shows like JoJo or Dragon Ball are referenced in poses and fight sequences among others, and how, in between all the horror and eerie settings, our eccentric leads mix in quick-witted humor that dispels the tension and shifts at least the mood to their favor. Science Saru and the mangaka Yukinobu Tatsu really went all out with this one. I swear they're on something with how good they made this. Moving on, one of the best things about the show is the balanced gender roles. I cannot, for the life of me, stress this enough. But why is it so hard for writers to balance genders? The first episode did feel really uncomfortable with... You'd really see the favor tip to either side when it comes to being useful in a fight. Both of them could blindly trust each other and carry their weight without being shallow freeloaders just there for emotional support, fan service, or comic relief. In most shonen shows, however, female characters are mostly just shining examples of bizarre bodies simply dedicated to reeling in the vast majority of its viewers with rubber pool level depth to their personality. I'm not saying Dandadan is free from the clutches of fan service. I mean, she exists. But in terms of adding value and moving the plot forward, Dandadan does it so well. This other girl I knew was lost in a flashback every time she got screen time, and her entire existence revolved around Sasuke-kun or Naruto-kun. Oh, another. Change her up a bit and replace the Sasuke-kun with Kurosaki-kun, and the list goes on. Sure, they were useful at times, but at times is a jarringly low number for a show that is hundreds of episodes long. Whenever Momo and Okarun have an argument, Okarun actually fights back like a normal human being, without changing himself up for Momo and vice versa. That alone is a breath of fresh air in the shonen genre, which is also a little glimpse into what being treated as an equal means. Not better nor worse, just normal. Why has that been so difficult to comprehend until now? Another thing I love about this series is how it blends realism in between all the chaos. The part where Momo uses the train to escape and takes into account its speed, how Granny uses her experience to outsmart her strategy, how Momo takes the crab to an onsen to boil it, or how they take down the sumo Flatwood's nightmare by using actual sumo rules or logic against him, or whatever it identifies as. Seeing how closely bound all of these spirits are by all these rules and regulations, and how each of them has a distinct tone, accent, and aura, make it seem as if the mangaka personally interviewed all the local ghosts before writing this. He did read 100 shoujo manga before this, so it's no surprise that he'd go so far. The realism is also evident in their manners of speeches, with Momo speaking like a true gyaru, often mixing in slang words or using a variety of tones when speaking, and Okarun, well, speaks like a true nerd who is probably on the spectrum. Yukinobu Tatsu didn't just write them to be individually unique characters, but also made their dynamics, interactions, and conversations so realistic that I wanted to bang my head at how good it was. The awkward silence between them, the clever pauses, eye contact, subtle body language, and even them randomly tweaking out in the background are not only excellent examples of how human beings really behave, but also an amazing way to minimize animation, yet still retain the same level of impact. Seeing the slightest hints of Gintoki or Jonathan in Momo, and Deku or Tanjiro in Okarun is a joy like no other, and I can't wait for more mentally unstable eccentrics to join the cast. The animators, author, directors, and editors have all poured their hearts and souls into making this, and every minute spent watching the show feels special. The best way to describe it would be riding a roller coaster that's on the verge of collapsing, and the only thing keeping it and you going is a nice old dose of adrenaline.